Good evening. You're watching the News at 6 with me, Ishan Russell. The News at 6 is all about the day's biggest developing stories, and we'll be filling in on them over the next half hour. But first, the headlines that we're tracking right now. On a day when the CBI carries out anti-corruption raid on his principal secretary, Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal alleges political vendetta. CBI claims official favoured a firm in awarding state tenders. CBI raid in Delhi echoes in the upper house. TMC claims government is using investigating agency to stifle voices of opposition. Finance Minister relishes charge. In the Lok Sabha, opposition parties including Congress, TMC and RJD stage walkout protest atrocities against Dalits in Punjab. And Prime Minister Modi chairs Combined Commanders Conference on board INS Vikramaditya, unveils statue of former Chief Minister R. Shankar. Well, our top story this evening, signalling a new chapter in the ongoing confrontation between the Delhi government and the centre. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal targeted the union government over a CBI raid on his principal secretary. Kejriwal alleged that the raid was targeted solely against him, holding the top leadership of the government responsible. He claimed he will not be cowed down by such actions.
मकसद उन ठेकों की जांच करने का नहीं, मकसद केजरीवाल है। राजेंद्र तो सिर्फ बहाना है, केजरीवाल निशाना है। सीबीआई आज मेरे दफ्तर में क्यों आई है, कौन सी फाइल ढूंढ रही है, ये मेरे को बताना अब जरूरी हो गया है। कौन सी फाइल ढूंढने के लिए आए हैं सीबीआई वाले? ये फाइल है डीडीसीए की फाइल, जिसके अंदर अरुण जेटली फंस रहे हैं। अरुण जेटली पिछले कई सालों से प्रेसिडेंट है डीडीसीए के, और डीडीसीए के अंदर जितना भ्रष्टाचार हुआ है अरुण जेटली के रहते हुए, उसकी मैंने जांच कमेटी बिठाई थी, उसकी रिपोर्ट आ गई है और उसके ऊपर अब कमीशन ऑफ इंक्वायरी बैठने वाला था, जिसकी फाइल मेरे दफ्तर के अंदर। मैं आपको बता दूं मोदी जी, आपने दूसरों को तो डरा दिया सीबीआई से, केजरीवाल नहीं डरने वाला। आपको पता नहीं है मैं किस मिट्टी का बनाऊं।
And earlier, the CBI raided the office and official residence of the Delhi government, and that became the focal point of the fresh confrontation between the government and the centre. Arvind Kejriwal accused the centre of misusing the CBI against its opponents. The centre, however, denied the allegations, saying it had nothing to do with the raids.
Another day, another confrontation. The Delhi government and the centre are at loggerheads once again following CBI raids at the Delhi Secretariat. The CBI carried out the raid on Kejriwal's principal secretary, Rajendra Kumar, for allegedly favouring a particular firm in bagging state tenders. The CM alleges that his office was also raided, a charge denied by both the CBI and the union government.
Reports from certain quarters regarding search at the office of Chief Minister Delhi are completely baseless. CBI emphatically denies having searched the office of Chief Minister Delhi. False propaganda should not be used to impede our investigation.
CBI has not raided the office of the Delhi Chief Minister. 2. The CBI has conducted raids at 14 places today. Yes, not only. These relate to cases of alleged corruption for a period much before Mr. Kejriwal became the Chief Minister. So the cases don't even relate to the tenure of Mr. Kejriwal. So neither his office has been raided, nor does the subject matter of investigation relate to him.
सीएम ऑफिस के उस कमरे में जिसमें चीफ मिनिस्टर की सारी फाइलें रखी जाती हैं, उस कमरे को आज सुबह सीज कर दिया गया। कोर्ट में जितने एफिडेविट फाइल होने थे, जितनी आज फाइलें साइन होनी थी, जितनी कल फाइलें साइन हुई, सारी की सारी सीबीआई ने अपने कब्जे में लेके खंगालना शुरू किया था। ये सीएम के दफ्तर पर रेड थी। मैं आपके सामने कैटेगरिकली कहना चाहता हूं कि राजेंद्र कुमार जी तो एक बहाना है, असली निशाना चीफ मिनिस्टर अरविंद केजरीवाल को बनाया जा रहा है।
The matter did not end there. Arvind Kejriwal countered the claim in a series of tweets, in them calling the Prime Minister a coward and a psychopath, and that the Finance Minister had lied in Parliament.
भारत के इतिहास में ऐसा नहीं हुआ, और नरेंद्र मोदी जी जिस कदमों पे चल रहे हैं, दिल्ली की जनता, देश की जनता देख रही है, और उनका भी वही हाल होगा। जो कांग्रेस ने जिस प्रकार से सीबीआई को मिसयूज करा था, नरेंद्र मोदी जी भी उस प्रकार मिसयूज कर रहे हैं।
The CBI has done after proper search warrant issued by the competent court. The use of the expression coward for our popular Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi by Mr. Arvind Kejriwal is totally uncalled for, unwarranted, shameful and condemnable.
In the Delhi Secretariat, Rajendra Kumar's office is situated on the same floor as the Chief Minister's. After the raid, the CBI sealed the entire floor, which saw the AAP launching a no-holds-barred attack on the centre and the CBI. With inputs from Pranav Goswami and Anu Diwan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And the issue echoed in the Rajya Sabha as well. The opposition cornered the government inside the upper house of parliament. The TMC alleged the government was using the premier investigating agency to stifle voices of all opposition. Speaking for the government, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley rubbished the claims and clarified that the raid was in relation to a case of corruption against an officer of the Delhi government.
Giving voice to the Aam Aadmi Party inside Rajya Sabha, TMC MP Nadeemul Haq raised the issue of CBI raids at the office of Principal Secretary to the Delhi Chief Minister. TMC leader Derek O'Brien alleged that the CBI Act hints at a state of undeclared emergency in the country. The TMC also alleged that the government was trying to weaken the federal structure as ensured by the Constitution of India.
There has been a raid this morning within the precincts of the CMO.
I believe the leader
in the morning you said the files in the Chief Minister's office have been gone through by the CBI.
The Congress and the JDU also joined ranks with the TMC in criticizing the government.
बीजेपी सरकारों को इस बीजेपी की सरकार से बचाइए। बीजेपी सरकार कानूनों के द्वारा सब नॉन बीजेपी सरकारों को टॉपल कर रही है, गिरा रही है।
केजरीवाल के लड़ने में जो छापा लगा है वो राजेंद्र कुमार के खिलाफ नहीं, वो केजरीवाल के खिलाफ लगा है। जांच होनी चाहिए।
Finance Minister and Leader of the House Arun Jaitley sought to refute all charges against his government. He asserted that the Chief Minister's office was not raided and that the raid pertained to a corruption case against an officer of the Delhi government.
The Chief Minister of Delhi, his office has not been raided. The raid has nothing to do with Mr. Arvind Kejriwal. The raid has nothing to do with the tenure of Mr. Arvind Kejriwal as the Chief Minister of Delhi. There is a corruption case complaint with the CBI against one officer in the Delhi government. That officer is attached to the office of the Chief Minister. 14 different places have been searched by the CBI. It is that officer who has been searched, and the search is in relation to a case for an alleged offence committed in his capacity before he joined the office of Mr. Kejriwal.
But the minister's assertion failed to pacify the agitating members. TMC alleged that the government's action outside was setting the agenda inside Parliament. Sharp verbal exchanges were witnessed between the Treasury and the opposition benches. This is Kriti Mishra's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And our correspondent Vishal Daya has been tracking all the goings-on in Parliament and he joins us live. Vishal, once again, another day, another issue, but the disruptions continue. What will happen next?
Well, Ishan, that's what the big question is. In fact, if you look at the number of days, that's what a slightly bigger question is, that if it continues the way it has been continuing since last 5 to 6 days, then what will happen to the bills? There are a number of bills which will line up. In fact, this was the report which we saw was the pre-lunch scenario in the House. In the post-lunch scenario, once again, as it happened yesterday, the chair decided, or rather tried in some way or the other, to take up the bills which were listed during the day, for the day rather. And there was once again, a trade-off of charges between the government and opposition as to who is responsible for this disruption. But effectively, no discussion could happen, no bills could be passed, and the House was adjourned for the day. So this is something which is being repeated day after day. And if it goes on like this, then the number of bills which have been pending with the upper house, their number will keep on increasing. And it's not only about the GST bill, which the government is very keen on, saying that it is, the topmost priority of the government as far as the economic reforms are concerned, but also certain other bills. For example, the whistleblowers bill, on which the discussion is halfway through. Then there is the Prevention of Atrocities Against the SC/ST Amendment Bill 2015, which was introduced yesterday amidst din, but no discussion could take place. There are several other bills as well which are to be taken up in the upper house, some of them which have already been cleared by the lower house, and few of them on which the select committee report has come in from the upper house. So all in all, a large number of bills, a huge legislative agenda, a huge legislative business has been piled up for days now. And if you look at the number of days remaining, not very much. Just 6 days now, starting tomorrow onwards. And that also includes one Friday, which is a private members' day. So no legislative business will take place on Friday, obviously. So effectively, for the government business, just 5 days left. In effect, if the government manages somehow or the other to try and convince the opposition to, to ensure that the House runs smoothly, even then, it's very less time left for the government, and they will have to prioritize as to what they want cleared by the parliament first.
All right, Vishal will of course keep a track of those developments as they happen over there. Thanks so much for that for now. And the Lok Sabha today saw heated exchanges as Congress members alleged atrocities on Dalits in Punjab. Congress members who raised the issue in both houses entered the well and forced repeated adjournments. The House also saw a walkout by the Trinamool Congress, the Congress and the RJD.
As soon as the lower house resumed proceedings for the day, the Congress and the TMC raised the incidents of the Dalit killings and student Arshdeep being run over. Amid protests, Congress leader Jyotiraditya Scindia claimed that the Punjab government and its allies are responsible for the atrocities against Dalits and women in the state.
पिछले दिनों में जो दो दर्दनाक घटनाएं हुई हैं दलितों के विरुद्ध और महिलाओं के विरुद्ध, मुख्यमंत्री के गृह जिले में विधानसभा में लंबी में चुन्नू गांव में महिलाओं को बस से कुचलकर मारा गया और इनके पार्टी का सदस्य उस बस ऑपरेटर का मालिक है और वो केवल मालिक नहीं लेकिन बादल परिवार के करीब है और दरबार का प्रभारी है.
Akal Dal leader and Union Minister Harsimrat Kaur Badal rejected the Congress charge, calling it politically motivated. She said the government had no role in these incidents and called for strict punishment for people responsible for the crimes. Parliamentary Affairs Minister Venkaiah Naidu claimed the government was ready for a discussion but said it was not proper to hold up proceedings.
आज खेद है कि जो दलितों के साथ हुआ पंजाब में एक इंसान के साथ, उसमें एक जट सिख भी था. दो गैंग्स के बीच की लड़ाई थी. दोनों गैंग्स में दलित और सिख दोनों थे. आपस में इनकी लड़ाई हुई और ये बुरा हादसा हुआ. सरकार ने इमीडिएटली गिरफ्तारी करी. एक आदमी को राजस्थान से पकड़ा. आज गैंग लीडर को भी पकड़ लिया. सारे बिहाइंड बाज हैं. बाकी जो नेम किए गए वो सारे पकड़े जाएंगे.
हम शुरू से कह रहे हैं सरकार सभी विषयों के बारे में चर्चा करने के तैयार है. गृह मंत्री में बैठे मगर एक घंटा हंगामा किया. हमारा चुने हुए पंजाब सरकार को बदनाम करने के लिए नारा दिया और अभी भाषण करना चाहते. अभी वो झूठा आरोप करना और बाद में भाषण देना और हंगामा करना दोनों ऐसा नहीं चलेगा मैम.
Calling it a state-related subject, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan refused to allow the issue into the House proceedings. Registering the protest, the Congress and the TMC staged a walkout. The incidents the members were referring to took place in Punjab late last week. 12-year-old student Arshdeep was run over by a bus while in Abohar Tehsil, a group of assailants cut off the hands and feet of two Dalit men. The Congress, TMC and other parties have staged walkouts over a number of issues in the current winter session. On Monday, they protested against an invitation to the Kerala Chief Minister being withdrawn from an event attended by the Prime Minister. Pranav Goswami's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the BJP has issued a whip to all its MPs to be present in both houses of parliament for the remaining days of the winter session. The decision was taken at the party's parliamentary board meeting in the morning and comes in the backdrop of repeated disruptions inside parliament. The GST bill was supposed to be tabled during the winter session, but continuous uproar has so far blocked the passage of the bill. The GST bill is listed for discussion and passage in the Rajya Sabha, where the NDA does not have a majority and has a constitutional amendment bill that needs the support of 2/3 of the House.
संसद का जो सत्र अभी चल रहा है उसमें जिस तरह की दोनों सदनों में कांग्रेस पार्टी की नकारात्मक राजनीति और देश के विकास में बाधा पैदा करने की कोशिश रही है, उसके बारे में चिंता व्यक्त की गई है। नेशनल हेराल्ड नेशनल इंटरेस्ट पर हावी न हो, ये कांग्रेस को समझना चाहिए।
Well, time for us to take a quick break. On the other side, US Secretary of State John Kerry meets his Russian counterpart in Moscow. Will they find common ground in Syria? Details on the other side.
WTO talks in Nairobi. A world divided over trade. Is an agreement possible? Will nations abandon the Doha agenda? Watch the big picture at 6:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. You're watching the news at 6. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi today chaired the Combined Commanders Conference on board INS Vikramaditya. Earlier, he unveiled the statue of former Chief Minister R. Shankar at an event notable for the omission of Chief Minister Umen Chandi from the list of dignitaries. Notably, the family of R. Shankar kept away from the event. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi reviewing the Tri-Services Guard of Honour at Southern Naval Command in Kochi. On the second day of Kerala visit, he chaired the Combined Commanders Conference aboard INS Vikramaditya. Defence Minister Manohar Parrikar, NSA Ajit Doval and the three chiefs of the Army, Navy and Air Force were present at the meeting. The conference, devoted to India's defence policy, doctrine and operational challenges, was held outside the national capital for the first time. Modi then flew to Kollam, where he attended three functions, including the controversial one in which Kerala Chief Minister Umen Chandi was reportedly asked to keep away. Modi unveiled a statue of former Chief Minister and Congress President R. Shankar. However, the family of the former Chief Minister kept away from the event, alleging that he was being wrongly portrayed as a RSS member.
लेकिन आर शंकर जी के जीवन को देखें तो वे नारायण गुरु ने जो शिक्षा दीक्षा दिखी थी उसमें कभी कॉम्प्रोमाइज नहीं किया। राजनीति में संकट झेलने पड़े लेकिन रास्ता नहीं छोड़ा। मैं ऐसे महापुरुष को प्रणाम करता हूं।
There was an article in the lead paper of BJP at Kerala yesterday stating that Sri R. Shankar was one of the old RSS Sankecha Parivar or whatever they called it. So he never had any idea to be with RSS any time at his lifetime. He was a Gandhian.
Before leaving for Delhi, Prime Minister Modi will hold discussions with the Chief Minister and his cabinet colleagues at Thiruvananthapuram. This is Modi's first visit to the state after becoming the Prime Minister. On Monday, Modi said that people of Kerala had realized the need for a third force, a BJP-led alliance that will be free of corruption. Assembly elections in Kerala are due in 2016. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, the Supreme Court is mulling hiking the environment compensation charge in a bid to check the high pollution levels in the national capital. Reports suggest the apex court is planning to double the charge on commercial vehicles entering Delhi. This will be in addition to the toll tax. The increased charge is likely to be 1,400 rupees, earlier fixed at 700 rupees for light-duty vehicles. The environment compensation charge was imposed on commercial vehicles entering Delhi from the 1st of November for 4 months on a trial basis. Meanwhile, the top court also agreed to ban the registration of diesel cars over 2000 cc. The court said this while hearing petitions seeking a complete ban on diesel cars in Delhi. The Supreme Court observed that rich people can't go around in SUVs polluting the environment. The final order will come on Wednesday. Time now to take a look at other national news stories and nationwide. BJP MPs will contribute 10,000 rupees each towards Chennai flood relief measures. Union Minister Mukhtar Abbas Naqvi said Chief Minister's Relief Fund has so far received 96.53 crores from various companies and individuals for the relief in Tamil Nadu. Newly appointed Chief Justice of India, T.S. Thakur, mooted a vacation bench in Supreme Court within the 15-day winter break to hear urgent cases. It will also look into requests for consideration. At least 15 passengers were killed and 25 others injured when a bus fell into a river from a bridge in Hoshangabad district of Madhya Pradesh. The bus was crossing a river bridge when the incident happened. Rescue operations were underway and so far 15 bodies have been recovered. Some international news now, and the Secretary of State of the United States, John Kerry, is in Moscow to hold talks with top Russian leaders on Syria and the Ukraine crisis. His visit comes just a day after world leaders met in Paris to discuss Syria ahead of a possible third round of talks in New York. The US and the West want Syrian President Bashar al-Assad out, but Moscow remains adamant that it is for the people of Syria to decide.
In the meeting in New York between our presidents, both President Putin and President Obama made it very clear that they wanted to try to find a way forward on Syria, and they also wanted to find a way to resolve Ukraine.
The US Secretary of State John Kerry adopted an appeasing tone as he reached out to the Russians in a bid to narrow down divisions over Syria. Kerry held talks with his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. He will meet President Putin as well. The focus of the talks are the planned January 1st ceasefire in Syria and Russia's continued bombing of Syrian opposition forces, including some backed by Washington and its allies. Ahead of the talks, however, Russia was on the offensive as it attacked the US policy on Syria, accusing Washington of dividing terrorists into good and bad.
Сирийское урегулирование требует нашего постоянного внимания в русле тех задач, тех договоренностей, которые были достигнуты в Вене в ходе двух заседаний этой группы. На днях закончилась международная встреча по Ливии, где ИГИЛ тоже пускает свои ростки.
Even when there have been differences between us, we have been able to work effectively on specific issues. And now, in both of the Vienna discussions, Russia has been a significant contributor to the progress that we've been able to make.
The meeting comes ahead of the possible Syria talks in New York on Friday. Earlier on Monday, world leaders met in Paris to discuss the political transition in Syria. Russia remains firm on its support to Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. For West and the US, however, Assad is a stumbling block in Syria's future.
Aber das, was es gibt, ist ein kleines Fünkchen Hoffnung, dass die 5 Jahre Bürgerkrieg nicht uferlos fortgesetzt werden, sondern dass wir mit dem, was wir...
Apart from Syria, Kerry also underscored the importance of implementing the Minsk agreement in Ukraine, which includes a ceasefire in eastern Ukraine and withdrawal of heavy weapons by both the Ukrainian government and the Russian-backed separatists. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, Saudi Arabia today announced a 34-state Islamic military coalition to combat terrorism. In a statement, Saudi Arabia said Joint Operations Center will be set up in Saudi capital Riyadh. Nations in Asia, Africa and the Arab world are involved in the alliance without its main regional rival Iran. Afghanistan and Syria are also excluded. The coalition came amid international pressure for Gulf Arab states to do more in the fight against so-called Islamic State. Saudi Defense Minister Mohammed bin Salman said the new alliance will coordinate efforts against extremists in Iraq, Syria, Libya, Egypt and Afghanistan.
لدينا عدد دول تعاني من الإرهاب مثلا في داعش في سوريا والعراق، الإرهاب في سيناء، الإرهاب في اليمن، الإرهاب في ليبيا، الإرهاب في مالي، الإرهاب في نيجيريا، الإرهاب في باكستان، الإرهاب في أفغانستان، وهذا يتطلب جهود قوية جدا لمحاربته. فبلا شك سوف يكون من خلال تحالف تنسيق لمحاربة هذه الجهود.
Time now to take a look at other international news stories in Global Buzz. Leaders from the Shanghai Cooperation Organization member states attended the signing ceremony today. They signed a series of cooperation documents. Minister of State for External Affairs, General V.K. Singh, is representing India at the event. India will be part of the Trade Ministers meeting at the World Trade Organization's ministerial meet that starts in Nairobi today. The meet will generate political inputs on issues that need a push by the developed nations class to build consensus. Ministers are debating negotiations aimed at a deal to liberalize global trade. On Tuesday, UN-sponsored peacekeeping talks to try and end Yemen's civil war have started in Switzerland. Delegates from the Saudi-backed Yemeni government in exile and representatives of the rebel group will meet at a secret location for discussions. A bus carrying Argentine border patrol officers blew a tire and tumbled from a bridge into a dry riverbed yesterday. 43 people were killed and 8 were injured. President Macri expressed condolences to the families of the victims and declared a national day of mourning. New Zealanders took a step closer to getting a new flag. Results of the first phase of the two-part referendum showed the winner, a flag featuring black fern on black and blue background with 4 red stars. The flag will face off against New Zealand's current flag in the second phase of the referendum next March. Well, that's all from us. Goodbye.